Shaver? Oh, what you looking at, you dog? I'll roll you, your dog. Oi, chuck us a ciggy, mate. You wanna fight, bro? What flavour, mate?
Hey guys, I just wanted to share my skin routine.
Shut your fucking mouth! No problem, John. Shut the fuck up, you cunt! Shut it!
I came to laugh at you.
How the fuck are you, huh? It's Shopper Reed here. Now it occurred to me there might be kiddies watching, yeah? Hello, kiddies. Fucking hello. Hello.
Fucking hello! How the fuck we doing, boys and girls? Good to see you all. Thank you. Coming out to another live stream. It's a little bit past midnight. I am drinking hot chocolate. Yeah, nothing alcoholic tonight. Hot chocolate for you, boy. Oh, it's divine. It is fucking divine. How are you all doing? Good to see you all. So Lady Greymaster, she is running a little bit late, but she'll be here. Personally, I think it's because I don't know how. Like, there's something to do with the chromosomes. Women are incapable of telling the time. It's not their fault. It's genetics. It's just how it is. It's just how it is. But welcome to another Lethal Talk, you fucking mad lads and lasses. We're mostly going to be focusing tonight on the Halo series producers' comments after season 1 came out and how they're essentially putting it out there that they're open to all feedback and all criticism. And they're looking at all types of criticism in order to help build the show going forward. Yeah, yikes. Now, some of you might have seen the video I did on this topic earlier in the week. I wanted to go into a bit more detail, and I felt the only way to do that was to do it live. And Lady G, she should be joining us anytime now. But before we do that, I'm going to take a sip of water, and I'm going to get the chat open and say hi to everybody. Let me know how you're all doing, you mad lads. So, from the top, I see John Connors. What's up, John Connors? How you doing, sir? Good to see you, man. D-Day, Direwolf. Hello. Dan Blackroy, Kenobi crossover with Halo will save DC. Absolutely. Love the muzzle logic. We can call them mozzerisms. Jolly Killer. I'm actually awake and going to stick around while I can. Hey, I appreciate you being here, man. I understand that it's probably pretty late or pretty early, depending on how you look at it over there. Trey's here. Hello, Trey. How you doing? Fuck that profile picture, man. 10 out of 10. 10 out of fucking 10. The lovely Mara's here. Good morning, everyone. Hello, Mara. Stunning and brave Megatron. I'll fix this show. Get me a sledgehammer and a few addresses for the rioting team. Decepticons forever. Fucking Decepticons forever. Metalong says that he is a perv on Twitter. Metalong, when I was on Twitter, I was also a perv. So who am I to judge? And you're an Uncle Tom on Twitter. Of course. Can't have a fucking black man say something against the narrative. That's the worst fucking... The worst thing you could be on Twitter is a black man or a woman that goes against the fucking mainstream narrative. Then you're an Uncle Tom or what's the other one? Internalized misogyny. What a fucking crock of shit all that stuff is. Oh, Hit the like button. Yes, hit that like button if you can. Thank you very much. I would appreciate that. Keely's here. Hello, Keely. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Yeah. Have I missed anyone? John's there. Blabs! Fucking Blabs is here. Whoa! I show up and say hi before I'm off, and he's not even live. Here I am, Blabs. Fucking hell, Blabs. What's for dinner tonight, Blabs? Late and gayer by the minute. Well, it is June. I'll tell you what, when Lady G gets here, you'll tell her how late and gay she is, okay? I was here. I was here on time. It's the females that fucked it up. Well, surprise, surprise. Hey, but Blabs also did her first Twitch stream yesterday morning. Yes, for me yesterday morning. She did a fantastic job as well. I believe she's actually going to be live later today in about 8 hours and 20-ish minutes. I think I'm going to be dual streaming with her. We're going to be playing Apex. Going to be doing a bit of Apex. Gayer by the minute. I blame Blabs for Lethal being late. Yeah, I know. If she just did the squats and made herself a bit tighter, it wouldn't take so long. Am I right? Am I right? Shy, tumbling down. Fucking oath. Bashy Washy. Oi. What up, Bashy Washy? How you doing? Good to see you, Bashy Washy. Have I seen every... Oh, no, Cell Shade's here. Hello, Cell Shade. Good to see you, you fucking mad lad. What is it, Cell Shade? Fucking hello, you dog. Spirian, my boy. How you doing, sir? Hot chocolate. What a fig. What a fig. Hey. Yeah, maybe a little bit. It's nice, though. It's fucking nice. I gotta be honest, man. The hot chocolate is really fucking nice. I made a hot chocolate about 2 nights ago. The first time I had chocolate in... I reckon it's the first hot chocolate I've had since I moved in here. And it was fucking poggers. Absolutely fucking poggers, man. Because it's been so cold lately, man. I'm fucking robed up and shit like that, man. Fucking drinking hot chocolate. And man, yeah. And then tonight I figured, you know what? I want another fucking hot chocolate, man. It's good. It's good for you. Lady G got distracted by the cheeks. Oh, wait, what are we going to do if her husband rocks up again? Fuck. Last time her husband came on a stream, every dude turned gay really quickly in the chat. You'll turn gay for him. And it wasn't even June then. Fuck the patriarchy. Fuck you. Blame the patriarchy. Fuck you. Women are trash. Never forget that. You're all shit. Long live the patriarchy. Fucking know your place, hoes. You belong in the kitchen or in the laundry, depending on what role you were assigned at birth. Spiral Headface. What up? Hello, chat. Hope everyone's having a nice day. Thank you very much. Hope you're having a nice one. Now, here's a respectable woman, the lovely Sherry. How you doing, lovely Sherry? Good to see you. I value my time too much to spend on Twitter. I value fucking sanity. Trust me. Static. What up, Static? How you doing, Static? Good to see you. For some reason, I'm less inclined to protest a woman being gay and late. Fucking simp. Come on, John. You can do better than that. Having a Milo. Yeah. Milo. That's what's up. Milo's the fucking bomb, bro. Milo's where it's at. Fucking, I got the fucking, this is just some shitty fucking, I can see the tin from over here, mate. Some fucking Cadbury shit. It's fucking nice, though. I'm keeping an eye on the back room to see if Lady Greymaster hasn't heard me talk all this shit that I've been talking. Hey, Joe, how you doing? What is Poggers? Poggers is Twitch talk for good. If something is Poggers, it is good. It is really good. How are you doing, though? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Host squad assembly. Yeah. Phil, what up, Phil? How you doing? Have I caught up with everybody? Says a connection engage. Oh, that's fucking funny. All right, well, Lady G is definitely running a bit on the late side. So I think we'll just get started first. So the first thing I wanted to do was I wanted to backtrack a little bit and start with this. So our boy Pablo Schreiber, you might know him as Master Cheeks. So Pablo Schreiber, You know, there's been a few interviews since season 1 of this shitty Halo in-name show ended. This show was absolutely fucking terrible. Fucking terrible. For those of you that suffered through it, you have my condolences. And for those of you that just came to laugh at me or with me during the reviews, thank you for enduring my pain with you. The show was absolutely terrible. It got fucking everything wrong. Like, I know it was its own timeline, which they called the Silver Timeline, and I know it was fucking stupid from the get-go, but I believe there's only so many things you can change in a story or a series or IP or whatever the fuck it is before it becomes in name only. And I think that the changes that was made to the Halo show, it was about as far as you could possibly be from Halo while maintaining the name Halo and keeping some like this picture here, for example. You know, if you scroll down, I'll zoom in on it a little bit. See now, if you really squint your eyes, he kind of looks like Master Chief there, kind of, but don't be fooled. That is not Master Chief. He became known as Master Cheeks. And like I've said, the great thing about him being called Master Cheeks was it wasn't something that one person just came up with and it caught on. It seemed like every little group of friends or associates or whatever it may be across the world were all calling him Master Cheeks. Everyone was calling him Master Cheeks without each other knowing that we're all calling him Master Cheeks. So it just collectively became known as Master Cheeks. And that's fucking funny, right? So this show, you know, it did so many fucking stupid things. It gave us it might be the most cringiest sex scene I've seen in a TV show in quite some time, man. It was awkward as shit, dude. I could only get 2 nuts to it personally. That's how you know it was fucking bad, right? I can't say that with a straight face. I don't think I could get another try to it, but it was cringy as fuck, man. Every episode seemed to have some ass cheeks in it for some reason. You know, the age-old question is tits or ass. So this show took a fucking stance and it stuck by it. This show said ass, right? Every episode there was fucking butt cheeks. In one episode there literally was fucking butt cheeks. I assume so, at least, right? And then on top of that, we even got a little bit of side boob as well. Like, I ain't no fucking prude. I ain't no fucking prude. But there should not be sex scenes in a Halo show. There should not be sex scenes in a Lord of the Rings show. Right? Unless you're watching a parody, a porn parody, that is. And quite honestly, this felt like a fucking porn parody. I mean, me and Mike, man, we made the prediction on like episode 6, like this whole thing's a fucking porn parody. 2 episodes later, they started fucking. So yeah, we were right. All right. This show, I feel, might be the closest thing to in-name only that I have ever seen in my life. Right? And now that the season 1 fallout is happening, and, you know, season 2's definitely got to be happening. I don't think this is going to be a Cowboy Bebop situation on Netflix where they can it before season 2 comes out. I do believe this will get a season 2. I've said that I think this is going to go all the way to season 3, maybe even beyond that. So now we're dealing with all the post-season 1 interviews. Fallout is what it really is. Some damage control to be extent. So first up was Pablo Schreiber. Now, in my opinion, Pablo Schreiber was taking a lot of jabs at fans throughout the whole fucking thing, and somehow it went under the radar. I don't know how he managed to get away with it the way he did, but I feel like, you know, between myself, Dismaru, Lady G, Mike, you know, we were showing it quite a bit. We're like, dude, this dude's a fucking cunt, right? He is the first one up to give his post-season 1 interview, and I want you to keep in mind, try to remember some of the things that he said before the show came out and during the show. And just as I'm about to get into a full-scale rant, the lovely, the beautiful, the amazing, the perfect, the glorious Lady G's husband.
Yes, it's Lady G's husband. It's not me at all.
Okay, so it's all right that I have now.
Huh?
No, no. How you doing?
I'm good. I am in Dallas driving back to my hotel. I just had breakfast with Father Christopher Miller before he left. And now I'm trying to get back to my hotel so I can go hack and get checked out in time. So you might hear some wrestling around. But
that's totally cool. How was it? Did you have fun?
I had a blast. I still have more that I'm gonna do today. Like we have the F&T panel at 2, and then I'm gonna go to the Lord of the Rings. All 4 hobbits are here.
Oh.
So I'm gonna go to their thing at 7 o'clock tonight. And then I've got about a 5.5, 6 hour drive after that. But I hotels are expensive. And it's also Father's Day tomorrow. So
Is it? Oh shit.
well,
Oh, I
here
saw my
it is.
dad. I saw my dad a few hours ago. We're set. We've got a hi for Lady G. Lots of highs for Lady G. Hello, A2DJ.
Hello,
Arkansas
everyone.
said, "Tell Lady G I said hi, and it was great to meet her."
It was great to meet you. It was great. And Arkansas can confirm for you, Lethal, that I'm just as dull and boring in real life as I am on stream.
I don't believe that for half a second.
But
By any chance, has the picture I sent you arrived yet? Well, it might have. You don't even know.
I don't know. Okay, so it's because I'm on my phone. When I go look at this thing, it's gonna drop me out, but I'm still here. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna go look at it.
Okay, you do what you gotta do. You gotta do what you gotta do. I'm gonna catch up with the chat anyway.
Okay.
Arkansas, you're here. Hello, Arkansas. Look, he says that's false. That's false. Was she 8 feet tall? So explosions went off everywhere she was. Yeah, I totally believe that.
Oh my
Arkansas here. Dash Attack's here. Hello, Dash Attack. He's doing so much damage control. All right. Mr. G's wife all the way from Summer Heights. Yes. You might not understand that reference, but I'll send you some links later, Lady G, and you'll fucking cry with laughter.
Okay.
She's close to 9 foot tall. Oh, that's funny. I believe that.
I'm a bit. I was a lot taller than a lot of the other girls there. I will say that. I was a little bit shocked to see that. I'm not gonna lie.
Did you beat down on some host or assert dominance?
I just said hi. Yes. Like I'll tell you what. I'll give you, because we're here to talk about Halo things again. But I will give you a brief rundown. I parked Charlie Boy, this homeless man that is was outside the restaurant. He was like, ma'am, I'm tired. It's hot. I'm hungry. Would you mind buying an old man some food? And I said, I got no problem with that. I said, I'm running late to meet some people because, oh man, you don't even want to know. Like the drive, I hate the I-35, just all of the things, right? Everything that could have gone wrong outside of catastrophic, pretty much did go wrong, right? So, I get there, like the meetup has already been going for like 2 hours. I'm trying to get inside, but Charlie Boy's like, yeah, I just want some water and some food. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. He was like, I was like, I'm meeting people in Gators. I said, you're welcome. You can be my guest. You can come in with me. Like, I'll get you something. Aww. And he goes, I understand you're in a hurry. He's like, I'm not going to hold you up anymore, ma'am. He goes, I particularly do not eat the cuisine from that establishment. And I was like, whoo. I was like, if the homeless man does not want the food from this establishment, I don't think anybody should be. I know, right? I was like, So, yeah, I walked inside. Like, there were people out, out in front of the building. The place was packed. I was 2 hours late, and it was still just packed. There were easily probably 250 people there. And I walked in, and so there's a roof, and there's like the inside main bar, and there's the front. And the roof, there were a few less people up there because it was still just so hot. But there were plenty of people down out front in the shaded areas, and like the inside was packed, right? And I walk in, and you have to walk up these stairs to get to. I think they did it purposefully to see if you're too drunk to drive yourself home, because these stairs are kind of steep, right? So I walk up these steps, and like there's just this mosh pit of people, and like I see Ryan because he's like right there at the very, like maybe another 5 or 6 steps away from the staircase to come up.
Was he too drunk?
No, he was not. Though he was buzzed. He was having a good time, and that's all cool. But I walk in and I smile at him like he's gonna know what I look like, and he like gave me this weird look, but he saw my shirt, and so I was like, oh, that's right, he doesn't know what I look like. I probably just came off like total stalker crazy person. So I'm standing there and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna look for someone else. But like all the guys, everybody had lines to come and see them and sign stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll just get into someone's line, right? So I was about to get into Gary's line first. And then Ryan taps me on the shoulder and he's like, "Would you mind taking a picture?" Because like the guy that he was there with, like the guy that had come up to talk to him, was like struggling to get the front facing camera and he couldn't quite get it.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Sure, no problem." So I like took the phone and I dropped down and did the whole like angled up selfie thing so that you can like look taller and whatnot. And
You're a director.
well, hey, I'm just gonna say that picture turned out good. And so I hand the phone back and he's like, "Thanks so much." And I'm like, "Yeah, not a problem." And he gives the phone back and they shake hands or whatever. And then Ryan turns back around towards me and he's like, "And what was your name?" Because he points at my shirt because I've got my Nerdrotic shirt on,
Mm-hmm.
and it's bright red with Gary's yellow symbol on it. So I was like impossible to miss. And so I was like, "Oh, well," I was like, "My name is this, but you probably know me better as Lady G." And I thought he was going to punch me in the face. He was reaching out to like tentatively shake my hand. And then he just like ripped me into a hug. It was great. I was like, "What's up, Ryan?" And yeah, that was pretty good. And then he like drugged me straight to he made me cut Gary's line. He waited for them to finish talking to who he was talking to though. And then he was like, "You're going to Gary right now." And I was like, "No, like there's people and they've been waiting for an hour to talk to Gary."
Fucking hell.
But it was, oh man, it was great. The atmosphere was fantastic. The guys were on point. Poor Odin was just like, he stood in his spot for like probably 4 hours by the time I finally got to meet Odin. Because I was like, I'm not going to cut anybody's line. I didn't really meet any of the guys except for Ryan and Jeremy and everybody till like the end of the night when their lines kind of died down. And so it was fun to just like watch everybody have a good time, like hang out. But then like people would be like, "Oh, you're here for the meetup," and so like it just kept happening where like Carrie sat down and okay, D-Day, it being 3 inches taller than someone is not towering over them. I'm just saying.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, it was just, oh man, I wish you could come to one. Like it was so much fun. It was great to see everybody and just like the atmosphere of like the excitement and the motivation and like young Ripa even said he was like, he's like there, he goes, I never doubted that we would eventually win because what we're doing is what we need to do. But he's like, after last night, he's like, to see that in real life, to just like have 300 people show up just to say hi to you and to talk to each other. He's like, that's insane. He's like, that's incredible. And it just confirms, that he's like, it was like the chat in real life. Like you just get to, the same thing to us mere mortals. Oh my gosh. But it's so good and whatnot. But that very brief, all that. I'm getting ready to go to the fan expo, but we're about to rant on some Halo.
Yes, we are. But holy shit, it sounds like you had a fucking hoggers night.
It was good. It was a good time.
All right, so
I'm gonna tell you a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna tell you a bunch of stuff. I'll DM you stuff and whatnot because there's stuff that behind the scenes that I can't share, but that I was super excited about, and I almost like. I feel like I do a pretty good job of keeping my psycho fangirl contained, but it almost broke out last night. I'm not gonna lie. Like I almost could not keep her. I almost could not keep her down. It was pretty freaking ridiculous. So I
like it's a separate person.
Kinda, yeah.
That's good. We're building up the excuses now from when they come to chuck you in the nut house. We've already built up the level that there's different people in your head. Okay, I like it. I like it. Halo rants. Yes, sir. Halo rants. We have to get you on sometime. Roller, it'd be good to get you on sometime.
Yes.
All right. So first of all, I wanted to backtrack over this one. I talked about this throughout the week as well. So Halo's Pablo Schreiber says Master Chief. First of all, he's not Master Chief. He's Master Cheeks.
Master Cheeks.
Was meant to be slightly uncomfortable for fans. Damage control right off the fucking bat.
Absolutely.
All right. Having walked more than a virtual mile in Master Chief's shoes on consoles, seeing Halo's protagonist on our television screens was always going to take some getting used to. I strongly disagree with that. If we've walked a quote virtual mile in his shoes, we can look at him and go, "Hey, that's him on screen, right?"
Yep.
So I don't know what the fuck we're on about there.
And we walked and sped and speeded and flew many miles in actual Master Chief's shoes. Boots, really.
Far from being the shoot first, ask questions later hero of the video games, I would not describe him at all like that, but okay. The Halo series opted for a more introspective take on Master Chief. Stripping him down naked and seeing his butt cheeks is not introspective. That's just showing some butt cheeks.
Yep.
If you want an introspective take on Master Chief, I would say Halo 4 actually did the best job of that, despite it being a free for free and fuck free for free. But anyway, that of course includes the soldier taking off his iconic helmet and showing his face in the first time. Not the first time. We know for a fact that's not the first time. That's a fucking lie right there. Now, them showing his face in the first episode was never, ever, ever going to go well. It felt, you know, on top of everything else, it felt extremely unearned because we have some fucking random dude called Pablo Schreiber, whose name has never been associated with Halo whatsoever, is going to be the first person in live action as Chief to show his face. That was never going to go positively ever.
No.
So I don't know what they were fucking thinking with that, man. I need to sip some fucking hot chocolate.
Yeah, I still maintain it looks like he got hit in the face with the ugly shovel.
Yeah, definitely. It fell down every branch. In a new interview with SFX Magazine, a special Pride issue, how ironic, featuring Netflix's That Umbrella Academy on the cover, Master Chief's actor Pablo Schreiber. They keep calling him Chief in this. Someone needs to get in touch with their editors. They're making a lot of spelling errors over here. Master Chief's editor, actor Pablo Schreiber, has addressed what appears to be a very deliberate severing of the connection between fans and the iconic Spartan. It's kind of like we were always right from the get-go before the show even came out. And as the episodes were coming out, we were saying the same thing. And what was Pablo doing? Deflecting, lying, attacking people that were saying exactly this. And now he's coming out to go, no, that's exactly what we're doing from the start. You know that meme where that dude's like, oh, I was just pretending to be retarded? No, you're actually fucking retarded. That's the whole joke here, Pablo.
Yeah.
I just feel so validated. Like, it's coming from his own fucking words. Like, this is everything that so many people said from the jump, which he denied. And now he's coming out and saying it pretty much what we were saying. You completely severed connection.
Not only did he deny, he shamed.
Yes.
He shamed. It's not even that he just denied. He literally was like, he goes, true fan, and he like pointed to, you know, all of these like gaming journalists and like the actors themselves and these, you know, these super fans, and we're like, these people get it, these people love it, they know, you know, what we're trying to do is really Halo. We made the pilgrimage to 343 so that we could get it right. Like, you all are, you know, you're just toxic and hateful and you just don't want to love this. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's not how that works at all. So yeah, he's shamed, like, he and the shill media literally shamed actual Halo fans for calling out this BS. And we were told, no, you're wrong. No, that's not true. You're just being difficult. You're purposefully trying to misrepresent the Halo show. And now, oh, it was always supposed to be this way. Pick a lane, bro.
Let's keep going. So here's the quote. The process of the first season was kind of breaking that relationship that people have with Chief, of knowing and recognizing him as themselves, Schreiber explained. See, this is the thing. This is something that they were pushing from the fucking jump, was players see themselves as Chief. No. Halo is not an RPG. Master Chief is his own character. You don't play as a self-inserted character. The character you play as is Master Chief throughout most of these games, that is. He has his own characteristics, motivations, things that drive him, things that really get to him. You know, we don't put ourselves in the armor. We're playing as him in the armor. That we don't get to choose how he reacts. He reacts how he would react in these situations. So this whole thing of seeing him as themselves is total bullshit and just shows that he never fucking looked into the games or the books. We all said that the only one of these actors that seemed to be somewhat of a fan was the black guy that played Vanek. And you know what was everybody saying about him? He seems more like Chief than anyone.
Yeah.
So fuck you, Pablo. You're wrong there. We knew going into that it was going to be slightly uncomfortable experience for many viewers because of how long they lived with this paradigm of Chief. So why would you change it then? If that's truly how you feel, so why would you change that? I don't understand that. That's stupid. So here's a character that you all know that we're using as the selling point of this show, but we're changing the character completely. So it's not really the character you were looking for.
And then when
This is
you
what I
don't
was
like
getting at.
it, when you don't like it, it's your fault that you don't like it. It's not our fault.
Yeah, fuck you. It's your fault.
Yeah. God, the ego on these people is just astounding.
It doesn't make sense, does it? Like every now and then you're having a bad day and you think, at least I'm not this fucking dumb.
I know, right?
But the idea is for a long-form television series, hopefully the discomfort of the first season and the breaking of the paradigm will pay off long-term in the relationship that you'll have to get with this guy. So to that, my answer would be no, fuck you. If you're severing the connection from the audience, not the player, because this is a TV show, from the audience to the character, and people have rejected the character in the first season, why would they like him in the second or the third or the fourth or God forbid the fucking fifth? Why would anyone enjoy that? Like if your whole mission from the jump was to say we want to make you feel uncomfortable, why would I go back? You know, why would people go back? And we saw that, hey, they had a very successful first episode. I completely believe that. I do believe that the first episode pulled a lot of people in because everyone wanted to check it out to see what happened. And then I think from there, it fucking fell off a cliff up until the 5th episode because that had a battle scene. I reckon that pulled some people back. And then it dropped back down. The most organic interaction this show got was from the sex scene. Because that had fucking mainstream media being like, what the fuck is going on in this show? Why is there sex in a Halo show? You want to talk about making people uncomfortable? That was a pretty uncomfortable sex scene.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And, you know, like, the thing, too, or you know what, Lethal, maybe we have it wrong. Maybe we're not the target audience. Maybe their target audience is masochists, because that's about the only people I could think who would want to come back for more of this show. Or, you know, people like us who hate watch it.
Yeah. So, yeah, fuck you, Pablo. To me, this whole thing, like this one, I already did a video on it, but this whole fucking thing, when I read that, I was like, oh, validation. I just want the words validation written across that whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
Now, I just wanted to quickly cover that because that's a good segue into the main one. And that's this one here. Boom. Halo television. Yes, sorry.
Oh, no, I was like, this is just sweet. I don't even know, like, karma. I don't know what it is, but it's just glorious.
It's a fucking... It all comes tumbling down. Hey, Heath Nation. How you doing, Heath Nation? Who's with Lethal? That is the amazing Lady Greymaster. I should bring your thingy up here.
Hi, Heath Nation. Oh, you're fine. Well, because since I'm on my phone, it's my little gardening avatar. So it's not my usual LG.
There you go. All right, Halo TV producer on tough creative decisions. I would argue all of them were tough creative decisions because none of them were good. Now, this part I love. Fan feedback. And the franchise's open future. What, like an open relationship? You're just going to let anyone in there? Now, fan feedback. Oh, I can't help but wonder, what is their idea of fan feedback? Do they mean people like us? Do they mean Grace Randolph? What's their fan feedback? Is it just the people that really, really like it? I can't imagine that they would go out of their way now because now that they've committed to a path with this show, what's fan feedback going to do? I mean, you fucking killed him. Well, that's still up in the air. That's still up in the air, isn't it, if they killed him or not?
Well, yeah, because according to Disbrew, he wasn't quite dead. And I'm like, but there's like... I feel like the show, because remember, pretty much everyone unless you like went to the showrunner's Twitter, you're like, okay, so Chief's dead and it's now Cortana. It's now
Master
Cortana.
Tana.
Yeah, Master Cortana. And so like, you're like, okay, so he's dead and it's now Cortana. And then the show, if you have to go onto social media and explain the ending of your series because it's not supposed to, like, the cliffhanger isn't if Chief is dead or not or whatever. Like, it's supposed to be, it was supposed to be what are they going to do next, but they tried to make it like, is Chief in there or is Chief not in there? And then people are, okay, so they killed Master Chief. And so then the showrunners go on to social media and they're like, no, Chief's not dead. And I'm like, okay, well, you just, like, then what was the point of the ending that you gave us?
And I mean, if you weren't on social media, how would you ever find that out?
Exactly. Like what?
You wouldn't.
You wouldn't. Like, this is poor writing to the nth degree. It's quite sad.
I don't like Kwan. She reminds me of COVID.
Talk about a useless character.
All right, so far we have a winner for best comment. Okay, Kiki Wolfkill on Halo's past, present, and future. Let me zoom out a bit. It's fair to say that the Halo TV series suffered through some growing pains. The whole thing was shit. It didn't grow into anything good. It's just like a stunted midget in a constant state of agony. There was no growth.
Amen.
It's fair to say the Halo TV series suffered through some growing pains upon its US release. Now remember, because this show's about to come out in England now. You poor bastards over in the UK about to get the whole fucking thing at once. Okay, so from the concentration of Cortana's look, I swear they made her bluer in the show than from the trailer. Because if I remember from the trailer, she wasn't even that blue. And everyone was like, what the fuck?
Yep.
To Master Chief taking off his helmet, yep. The early discourse was dominated by controversy over a handful of creative decisions instead of what the show did right. The show didn't really do a whole lot right. In my opinion, there was like 2 or 3 cool things that they kind of touch on, and then they just fucking drop. Creepy, rapey scientist guy literally carried the show. He deserves his own spin-off. The bad guy, Vitcher, you could have done a really cool Oni storyline there, but they did nothing with that and then just killed him off, and it was kind of boring as fuck. Mackie, oh my god, what even was the point of Mackie in the end? Like, what did that even accomplish?
Yeah, I got like, I literally have nothing. I don't know.
She was just there I can't think of what she actually did in the show. She
didn't do anything. Not Miranda did more than she did. And I didn't like Not Miranda at all.
Oh god, what they did to her was terrible, man. I swear that Mackie character just existed for fucking Cheeks to put his dong into, and then for her to bring him to the fucking profits, which he just lets them all go as well. So no, I would argue that it didn't really do much right, and the things it did do right, it didn't follow up on. So now on the eve of the video game adaptation's UK streaming debut on Paramount Plus, 343 Industries and Halo series producer Kiki Wolfkill says the creative team is, quote, looking at all the feedback, the good and the bad, ahead of production starting up on the 2nd season. Kiki, sweetheart, you're going to be spending a lot of fucking time looking at a lot of feedback, if this is true.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you right now, Kiki, the good compared to the bad feedback is grossly, disgustingly out of whack. You got this much good feedback and you got this much negative feedback. There is not a whole lot that this show did right. Now, if you're going to sit down and go through what you believe to be the key main points of feedback, the answers are simple. You cancel the show or you reboot it. There is no fixing it. This isn't a show that gets better as it goes on. No. And the whole argument of, oh, well, sometimes who was it that said that? Fucking the chick that played Faye Valentine in Cowboy Bebop Netflix. She came out throughout the week and she was like, oh, sometimes shows don't get good to the 2nd or 3rd season. It's like, bitch, that means your show was never good to start with.
Yeah. Well, like, people tried to say, like, they were like, remember when Star Trek, the pilot episode aired and people like they didn't really like it, and I was like, first of all, the pilot episode is not bad. Second of all, the showrunners were able to make a correction because they were talented enough to pull it off, and they listened to their audience. But it was always going to be Kirk, like after the actor who was doing Christopher Pike was like, he made his comments or whatever, and the writers were like, okay, well then this is how we're going to handle it. And so the writers adapted to the situation, and they grew along with the characters just as much. And so, like, for people, it's a false equivalency to try and pull Star Trek into it and have it be some kind of like saving grace for your argument, because the first season of the original series is still good. Like it still has good writing and imagination and creativity and good acting, and like I think the biggest thing that was in its way was literally that one of the main actresses was black.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was one of its biggest problems, because this was before it was a virtue signal, and it was literally like, hey, if we do this, like there's a really good chance we're going to get canceled or backlash or something like that. So yeah, these people they blow my mind when they spit on greatness like that.
Fucking weirdos, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. But now I saw something funny here that made me fucking laugh. Oh god, they're going to look at what got the attention, the sex scene, and double down on it because attention.
Yeah,
Right,
probably.
maybe season 2 won't be too bad if that's the case. Now there is a super chat with 100 Linden flakes from Mr. Grant Gregory. How you doing, sir? Did I see Lady G on some of the streams at the Dallas meetup? Hail to both of you. Lethal, you mad, bro? I'm always fucking mad. You coming on Culture Casino stream this week? Most likely, sir. Most likely. I tend to pop on at some stage throughout the week. Last week, I didn't have a whole lot of time, but I was there at the start. Did you see Lady G in some streams?
I wasn't on anybody's streams. I hid.
She might have had a cameo in the background, like Where's Wally? She might have had a Where's Wally moment, if you can find it. Thank you, Mr. Gregory, you mad lad. Okay, so they go on to say, we're still getting feedback. It's interesting to me to see what characters that are resonating or not. Wolfkill tells Game Radar over Zoom. What characters resonate? One character that resonated? Creepy, rapey scientist guy, because the memes and jokes were fucking brilliant. They came up with a whole scene where Halsey's assistant, is alone in the room with the Halsey clone and like sniffs her while she's tied down and like goes to like lick her while she's tied down, and Halsey just happens to walk into the room before he gets to get away with it. If she did not walk into that room, he was going to lick a fucking cloned woman that was tied down and do God knows what else with her, man. Why was that there to never become a thing? He's creepy for the sake of being creepy. And hey, I'm cool with that. They fucking it gave us some fucking funny ass jokes. But you want to talk about resonating characters? That was the most creative shit you came up with. A creepy, rapey scientist dude. Fuck. What else was there? There was Halsey, which she basically turned into the villain and then pushed her off to the side. You had Miranda, who you race swapped Jacob Keyes first, and he was a fucking douchebag in this whole thing. Then, of course, you have to race swap his daughter, Miranda, who honestly is probably the most retarded fucking person in the whole UNSC. They've been fighting the Covenant for 20 plus years in this silver timeline, and not once. Oh, hold on, let me backtrack that. So in this silver timeline, she is a scientist, and she's like in charge of trying to figure out the different alien languages in the Covenant. And in the whole 20 years that they've been fighting, not once has she thought, hey, maybe I should ask the Spartans if they've picked up on anything, because they see them pretty often. She has this one moment where it's like a eureka moment. She's like, oh, I'll ask the people that see him all the time. Bitch, you didn't fucking come up with that at the start. And you're supposed to be like this huge Navy genius in the scientist, bitch. Nah, did not buy it for 1 second.
No.
Oh, and then you had the other. Oh, sorry, go on, yeah.
oh no, I was gonna say what really killed it for me was when her father comes down and is like, I don't even remember the order that he gives. But he's like this, and this, and they're talking about Quan. And like the order hasn't even gone through yet. Like Chief has not received that order. But he took it upon himself to walk downstairs and tell her, and then she's like, just like that, we're gonna just wipe her out just like that. And I'm like, bitch, what do you think you have been doing for 20 years while you've been helping your parents? Like, you think this is the first person that they've given the order to kill?
Holy shit. I totally forgot about that part. Oh, and the fact that they try to kill Chief in the first episode and they can remotely control the Pelican. They turn off the oxygen, but they don't just detonate it. Like, there's so many fucking plot holes throughout the season one. It even just excluding actual Halo canon, but just within its own fucking self-contained thing, it falls apart. Like, they contradict how long they've been at war with the Covenant for. I still maintain that I cannot figure out why they're actually at war with the Covenant. If you've got rid of, as far as we know, there are still Forerunners, but they've gotten rid of the whole Reclaimers. They've gotten rid of the whole mental responsibility. They got Blessed Ones, and they got a human Blessed One on their side. I cannot figure out why they actually need to be at war with humanity. I can't figure out a lot of this show. Another character that they're talking about, characters that resonate or not. How about Quan? Did Quan resonate with anyone, or did she just piss people off and annoy people and, at worst, bore people through the entire thing, man? You want to talk about characters resonating? There's one of your main characters. Boring, trash, hangs out in the desert with fucking desert Amazons and sees shroom and gets on fucking shrooms and sees a monitor and Christ.
Takes, by the way, in order to get these shrooms are a energy source. They're a fuel source. And they could have powered, God, probably 3 jets with the amount of mushrooms that they found that day. But instead, they lit them about high.
Fucking hell, man. I think Hasselhoff sums up this whole show. His face sums up a reaction to this whole show. You tell him, David. What else was there? There was, let's talk about the Silver Team spawns. So there was the one chick
I'm
that
so
had
sorry to cut you off.
freckles.
I'm so sorry to cut you off. I just thought of this. What episode did Quan finally wash her friend's blood off her face?
That she didn't wash her face off until they got to the rubble. So, like, what, episode
4?
2, 3? Something like that?
Yeah, something like that. It was, she walked around with brain matter and guts from her friends on her face for 3 episodes.
Wow. And not at one stage did she go like, fucking Jesus. So, okay, the Silver Team spawns. So there was the one chick that had freckles, lots of freckles on her face. She didn't do anything. She was just kind of there.
Yep.
And then there was Vanek. Vanek was cool, but they didn't do anything with him. Do you know what they did with Vanek? Was they pointed out with Vanek that Spartans in this fucking timeline aren't supposed to have any form of emotions whatsoever. But towards the end, he gets very angry and starts yelling a lot. Anger's an emotion, but they're not supposed to have any emotions, right? And then, of course,
maybe he took his birth control pill out of his ass too.
Which leads us in to the best one. I can't remember. I can't even remember her name. Kai? Is Kai the one that took the fucking stick out of her ass as well?
Yes. That one's yes. Yes. I think. I don't know. I think
it's Kai. Well, the one that took the fucking stick out of her ass.
Gun grease girl.
Gun grease girl. Yes. Did that character resonate with anyone? Holy shit. And she's the one they gave the most attention. They gave her more attention than Cheeks in most episodes.
Yep.
And all they did was show...
They were trying so hard to make it like her and Miranda had a thing.
Yeah, dude. That's right. They're staring at each other thinking, we're going to fuck later. Season 2, they're getting it on. So, yeah. There's all your characters. Oh, and then the profit of all the profits. Ugh. Ugh.
Dude, what was the point? Like, honest to God, what was the point of the profits? Like, they got talked down to for 7.5 episodes, basically. Yeah. They got ignored. They got talked down to. And then she, she showed up and she's like, hey, this is what I've done. And they're like, okay, now, like, at this point, from what we can tell, she was treated very well. That if she was able to, like,
She had glowing skin. She had the best hair care products.
like, she was clearly treated very, very well. And we were given no indication that at any point that the Covenant loathed her or hated her or anything like that. And it's like in the last 35 minutes of the final episode, it's like a switch flips and they're like, okay, now we can be done with her. But they had given us no, like, nothing.
They even
Go ahead.
go on. Oh, I was gonna say they even had her like talking down to elites when she was like with them as well. And it was so weird because there's like this huge size gap between the two of them. Like you have like an elite like looking down at her, being like, "Yes, Klon." It's fucking weird. Yeah, and then in the last episode, she's trash. She's always been trash. I can't wait to get rid of her. It's like, what? You spent 7.5 episodes of treating her like she's the fucking second coming.
Right?
And like, but they were just using her. They wanted her to feel safe. They were just using her. These are the fucking high prophets of the Covenant. They would have beaten her into submission, not fucking shielded her from everything, man. They would have turned her into their dog, man. They would have broken her. They would have thrown her in a room with Tartarus, and Tartarus would have smacked the shit out of her and gone, "You're going to do exactly what we tell you to do, or we're going to kill you."
Or we'll make you beg for death. The Covenant style is much more, you'll beg for death, and then when it finally comes, it still isn't an escape. That's kind of the Covenant style.
But instead, they're like, "Here, have this, have this. We're going to treat you so good." And let's not forget that her backstory episode, that flashback.
Oh, God.
All that did was continue the classic trope of it was just men bad. That whole fucking thing was just men bad.
Yeah.
She was on that shitty planet. She got tased by a man. Men were constantly harassing her. She had a girlfriend. And then who tases her that makes it? Because remember, she gets decked and then starts turning into Cheek's side. Goes pro-human for a little bit until Halsey gets on her Covenant speech. And then Halsey sounds just like the Prophet. And then she's like, oh, maybe you aren't that good. And then she gets tased by another man. You couldn't have one of the females in that room tase her. It was another man that tased her. And then she flipped. Her whole thing was men bad. The whole backstory was bad. Right.
She got dicked down one time and she was like, oh, maybe men aren't that bad. But apparently it wasn't a good enough dicking because
not my Master Chief. My Master Chief would have fucked the whole Covenant onto the human side if given the chance. In one night.
In one night.
So, yeah, I don't think there's any characters that resonated with anyone. Your main character, Master Cheeks, didn't resonate with anyone. And now she goes on to say, I will say, philosophically, we are absolutely looking at all the feedback. If you're looking at this feedback, I'll say it again. Cancel or reboot. Good and bad from each episode. Yikes. And those are things that will carry forward as learnings into season 2. So do you know what this says to me? They don't have a season 2. They know they're doing one, but they don't have anything planned. We got to look at the feedback. We got to see what people are saying. We got to see how we can go forward with this. It's not like they have a story written out. They haven't planned this out. Do you know what this reminds me of? The Star Wars sequel trilogy. We don't have a plan. We're making it up as we go. And now they're just trying to play the card of we'll look at what the fans are saying and base it off that. So you didn't have a season 2 in mind when you started this whole... When this show got renewed for season 2, you didn't have a season 2 is what I'm getting from this. And those are things... Oh, sorry, I just read that part. Just like all of the learnings we had on season 1 that we got through the course of production, we'll carry those forward. We will look at everything. Somehow, Lady G, I don't quite believe her.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, I don't believe, even if, so like when they said we made the pilgrimage to 343, I'm like, I don't know if you think you're endearing Halo fans to your cause when you say that, but we don't like 343 for good reason. Like, it, when people are like, huh, these feel like really different games, it's like, yeah, because they are. Like, even if they did go talk to 343, that's not going to help them secure an audience. From
I still don't believe they did. I still believe they got lost in the car park.
Yeah, there's no way. Like, there's just simply no way. The mistakes that they made, if that is true, that means the mistakes that they made are that much more egregious.
Oh man, it's fucking shocking, isn't it? I wish I still had the clip of months before the show came out of Kiki saying she pretty much told us the show was going to be shit months before the show came out. Man, I wish I had, where she was like, "The show is not canon." Perhaps with an eye to social media backlash, and message boards, Wolf Killers, we sort of do read everything of season 1, and we'll think about how we shape that moving forward. See, to me, that just outright sounds like they don't actually have a season 2 planned. They just got renewed for a season 2, and they haven't thought about what it's going to be. They've just been given the money to do it, and they get to pocket whatever money they don't spend. Which, as we saw from season 1, it seems like they didn't spend all the budget that they were given.
No, God, like when they clearly do not have like any type of military advisor or weapons master on set or anything to even just go over basics. Like when Disparu pointed out the machine gun count, the rifle count, I lost it. I was like, my sweet Jesus, like this is beyond insanity.
They need to watch your, speaking of Disparu, who's in the chat, what's up, sir? They need to watch your stream so they can bring creepy, rapey scientist Halsey clones into season 2. I'll go you one better, Disparu. He should get his own spin-off, and they should cancel this one.
Yes, that is how you save this series.
Yeah, the series ends with Cheeks taking off the helmet, and it's creepy, rapey scientist guy. It was me all along.
It was me, dude. I'd be down for that. I would watch that.
Plot twist. Okay, the fans then will likely have a say in how the Halo series moves forward. It was one decision.
That's my say.
Sorry?
I said it doesn't. That's my say. That's my say. It doesn't move forward.
It doesn't move forward, unless you bring back rapey scientist guy.
Yes.
It was one decision in pre-production, however, that was expected to cause a considerable amount of debate behind the scenes, and it's not the one you're thinking of. One of the big shifts that we did for the very mainstream, and by that I mean people who may have just played the games and not read the books, so the people that made the show, was bringing in the timeline of the insurrection up against the Covenant War. Wolfkill says that the two events of that in previous Halo media were about 3 decades apart. Now, the thing with it in the show was in the first episode, we have insurrectionists saying that there is no Covenant. It's fucking UNSC propaganda. Mind you, this is in the year 2552.
Yep.
And you're telling me that there's still people out there that don't believe it's fucking real.
Also, yeah, but in that same episode, literally, Quan's dad, who is the leader of this particular pocket, is like, we've been fighting the Covenant for 20 years or something like that. And I'm like, okay, so is it USNC propaganda, or have you been fighting them for 20? Like, pick a lane. You can't have both.
And then in the following episode, or maybe episode after, the chick says, "Oh, the Covenant destroyed my planet when I was a kid."
Yeah.
What? How does that work then? Like, when is it? When is it?
That was my big hang up. I remember when we were all talking about the particular episode where Miranda is trying to convince Quan to like put out the message that the Covenant is dangerous, and she's like, "I'll tell." And she's like, "It sounds like you need me." And what if I get on there and I tell them that it was the UNSC that did this, and they butchered my people, and she's like, "You didn't come in time to save them." So it's like, that's her justification. She's like, "I'm going to tell them that the Covenant's not real and that this is all UNSC propaganda, and it will encourage them. It will like compel them to continue to fight, and they'll fight harder because my father was beloved." And I'm like, my whole thing with that is the Covenant is real. You saw them. You saw what they could do. They literally vaporized people in front of you. Like, they misted people in front of you, and you're willing to lie to the people you're supposed to be a part of, that you're supposed to care about. You're going to lie to them and tell them that the Covenant isn't real, and completely and utterly have them caught unawares and off guard and unprepared.
But that's because the whole thing was UNSC bad.
Yeah. It's
And,
like, oh.
and further up where they said like, hey man, there was some things that they did right. I agree. I mean, you could have done something really cool and in depth by showing the insurrectionist side. Where they're still anti-UNSC, but the fucking Covenant's out there just killing every single person they come across. You could have gone with that road and you could have had a really cool story. And then that could have brought in Vitscher as well. You could have had him as an Oni plant from the UNSC to control fuel prices and keep the insurrectionists down and all that. You could have gone crazy with that stuff. Instead, they didn't do it. They had him naked in a bath, stand up, and what do you see? His butt cheeks.
Butt cheeks.
This whole show revolves around butt cheeks. And yeah, so when she starts talking about having like the insurrectionist side of the show, you done them so fucking dirty. You done them so fucking dirty, man. I mean, I am more of a UNSC person than an insurrectionist guy, but that doesn't mean that there's no cool fucking insurrectionist stories, and you could have come up with some as well, man. You really could have. Kwan's character was never going to be cool. Was never going to work. But you could have had a main character, well, a supporting character, because Chief should be the main character. You could have had a supporting character that was an insurrectionist. You could have done something with that.
Yeah, you
to
could have.
quote Mike, the show sucks. To quote Lady G, it's disappointing out of 10, the butt cheeks.
Yep.
Oh,
and
boy,
also,
boy.
like, if you're going to show me butt cheeks, like, if your whole thing is going to be a butt shot or a boob shot, those better be some fantastic tits and ass.
I still maintain that the chick that plays Mackie is a good-looking girl.
Yes.
The show did a no fucking help whatsoever.
They
so
rose
seeing the
shit out of her.
Seeing the side boob, we can work on that. But the potential in that.
Potential. I think like Cheek's ass was also disappointing.
Oh,
like,
it was a pancake.
Yeah, I was like, dude, if you're gonna show me a butt, then show me an incredible butt. Like, don't show me what is that? Like, that's a guy who has never done a weighted squat in his life.
Oh, it was fucking awful, man. The one good thing about this show was it gave us some funny ass streams. Apart from that, it was fucking terrible. Okay, she goes on. We bring that up so that we can actually give a view into the sort of the socio-political dynamics of the Illa colonies. You didn't do that whatsoever. The outer colonies and the UNSC rollout. You didn't do that. All you did was just say UNSC bad. That was all you fucking did. She continues, also the idea for a lot of people in the human colonies, the Covenant War wasn't always front and center in the way it was for the UNSC and for the people on the front lines. Yes, but your show is set in 2552. By that stage, it is front and center for everyone. By that stage, humanity had accepted we're going to fucking lose. We cannot beat these motherfuckers. It's too much. We're running out of supplies. We've used all our nukes. We have accepted that the chances of us winning this war is 0.0001. And that number changed when they discovered, what's the show called? Halo. Where was the Halo in the show? We didn't even fucking see a real Halo. It was all in the head. It was all just a fucking acid trip in his head. Fucking hell. At the time, however, Wolfkey admits that the shifting of key events felt like a breach. It wasn't a breach. It was a fuck up. It's funny now looking back on it. Oh, here we go. In hindsight stuff. It's funny now look back on it because it feels very appropriate for what we want to do with the story. I'm going to try and read that one again. It's funny now looking back on it because that feels very appropriate for what we wanted to do with the story.
Do they realize, like, these people not realize what they admitted to right there? Like, that meant that this was intentional.
Wow. Okay. At the time, it felt like such a big change because it is. It is. This is like of, what if Frodo Baggins never got the ring? That's basically the level of change you just made.
Pretty much.
That's one of those places.
What would have happened if Bilbo had given Gandalf the ring when he found it?
That's one of those places where it does help to flesh out the world for viewers in a way that's a little more comprehensive and lets us touch sorry, and lets us touch on those themes that we would have been able to do while looking at the insurrectionists as something that had happened in decades in the past. See, that's bullshit. You know how I know that's bullshit? Because of Disparu. Because Disparu was able to give a unique perspective on this show because he doesn't know Halo. So he was able to see this through a different lens. And that motherfucker was just as confused as people that did know Halo because of how much they changed. They didn't show shit. They just kept trying to tell you that UNSC bad.
Yep.
Starting the fight. See, she looked way bluer in the show than that photo, didn't she?
Oh yeah, she did. Absolutely. And also, can we talk about her in like one of the worst things that they did to Cortana was the lack
they destroyed Cortana as much as they destroyed Chief in this show.
Oh, absolutely. And like to have her like, okay, if you wanted to make Cortana evil, then just make Cortana evil. You know what I mean? Like just stick to it and go with it. Don't do like the obsession with this like morally gray, are there actually really any bad guys question that has been obsessive in Hollywood lately. I want to scream. Like, no, she's an AI. She doesn't get to pick what she believes or wants to do. That is not how AI functions. And then people are like, oh, well, AI is self-learning. And, you know, it's the question of, like, can it have self-realization and have its own wants? And you're like, no, I'll answer that for you. Yes, it can self-learn, but it can't outpace what it was created to do unless it is taught or given the instruction on how to surpass its maker. And because we don't know how to surpass ourselves, we can't actually do that, right? You could take the combined brain power of every living human on this planet and put it into a computer, and it would be and only take like the best parts out of all 8 billion or 7.7 billion people on the planet and run with it and be like, okay, this is going to be the smartest thing. And like, could it rule over us? Absolutely. But the thing is, eventually, it just like all other tech, it would become outdated because it has literally gone as far as it can go. And it does not possess the capability to learn how to improve itself beyond what humans are capable of, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
That's one thing that I liked about Halo Infinite was Halo 5 just was fucking awful.
Yeah.
They made Cortana evil. But Halo Infinite just said, okay, we really fucked up. We have to commit to that's what we're doing now. And granted, they kind of glossed over it, but they committed to like, okay, that's the road we went down. They didn't fucking flip-flop back and forth, which is what this show seemed to fucking do.
And then
anyway.
And then of course you get if there's anyone when they're all like, oh well, the Covenant was just using her, you know, they wanted to this, that, and the other. If anybody was using anybody, it was Cortana using Chief.
Yeah, and Halsey. Halsey was using everyone. I think everyone buys Halsey being, you know, a bit fucking out there, but they basically turned her into a fucking high prophet in this show. That little rant, that speech she had to Mackie was whoa. Okay, you sound just like the fucking prophets.
Yep.
Okay. Halo Low overcame that particular calendar conundrum and the debates raging around the series in its early days to forge forward with a genuinely intriguing sci-fi adventure. Bullshit.
No.
One that takes icons from Master Chief, Cortana, and the Covenant and remixes them in new and interesting ways. No. You took everything interesting about them, threw it in the fucking bin, came up with some bullshit that doesn't even make any sense within its own fucking continuity. See, that it's one thing for it to contradict real Halo lore and then use the excuse of it's its own timeline. It's another thing to completely contradict itself within its said timeline.
Yep.
That's something UK fans will be able to get a glimpse on soon in Paramount Plus. I really wonder what the British people are going to think when they're finally getting around to seeing this show now that it's available for them to see.
There's absolutely no way they would have ever seen it any other way.
Yes. Now that it's available for British users, finally, we'll be able to look forward to British reviews on this show.
You're not British, right? You live in like a fairyland or something, right?
We didn't have TVs where I live. Okay, from a game. Wait. Okay. The team are deep in creative on the second season. No, the only thing that was deep was Master Chief's dong in fucking Mackie. And all eyes are on the future of the franchise that is suddenly encompassing more media than it ever has for the first time. This brings us to the broader audience.
Oh God.
Okay, see, this is the thing with broader audience. On paper, it sounds like a good thing. More people, the better, right? But when you start thinking about things that were niche fandoms, Halo, Star Wars, not really niche, that was pretty big. Warhammer, which I haven't gone into, but niche fandoms that have lasted as long as they have. They never needed the broader audience. They had their own fan base that sustained that IP for however long it may be. If new people wanted to come along and, see what all the fucking fuss is about, door was wide open. Door was wide open.
Yep.
And this is where I believe gatekeeping is good. I believe that if someone just goes, "Hey, what's going on over there? What's this Halo you're talking about? I want to see what this is all about." Fucking come in, my friend. What game do you want to play? Here's some books you should read. Do you like comics? Read these, my friend. Let's talk about it. More the wealth, more the merrier. But when you start letting these fucking types of assholes in, I say we slam the gate shut because these motherfuckers do not want to come in to enjoy it. They want to come in to change it. And they can suck my fucking dick. And then maybe I'll open the gate a little bit. But until then, no. Okay, from a game perspective, Halo Infinite is a service. That is fucking bullshit. I play that game. That is bullshit. As a fucking service, that's a failure of a game. Amazing gameplay, but as a service, failure. Its name says a lot in terms of how we hope to continue to build on the Infinite platform. What does this have to do with the show? Over the next 5 years, from a story perspective, that's so interesting in having the TV series, which takes us back to the earlier Halo chronology. Not really. It's in 2552. It's a few years gap, granted. I think, and Halo Infinite's canon. So, whatever. I think we'll want to continue to tell stories in the universe and talk to the audience in different ways. You can talk to these nuts. How does that sound? What were you going to say, sorry?
Well, no, I was just going to ask. They couldn't make season 2 canon, could they? Like, if they decanonized season 1, they couldn't come back and be like, season 2 is canon. Could they? They couldn't do that. Why would they?
Nah, they couldn't because it's still Silver Timeline.
Yeah.
Unless they pull some crazy fucking bullshit.
Which, I mean, that's dumb.
I don't know. Maybe because how does season 1 end? They're in the Pelican leaving. Maybe they get sucked into some fucking wormhole and it pulls them into the canon universe. I don't fucking know.
Oh, don't give them ideas.
They say they're looking at all feedback. Don't look at that one. Multiverse.
Oh my God, I am
Halo multiverse.
I'm so done. I'm so done with multiverses and timelines and time like I hate time and you know this, Lethal. I've said this for ages. Time travel is one of my least favorite, if not my least favorite trope.
Here comes some Sailor Moon rants.
Like, I mean, look at what they like. It's the perfect example. If it had just been Sailor Moon R with Rini, like, I think I would have been okay. But it still doesn't make any sense because she literally, she shouldn't have even been able to threaten her mother's self in the past, because if there's any two people she should not be able to harm, it would be her parents, because it would mean she wouldn't exist, which means she couldn't go back in time to do what she's doing. Like,
for those of you that watch the Sailor Moon streams, you know damn well what we're talking about.
I'm just...
By the way, is Sailor Moon next weekend? Yes.
Yeah,
no, it's the weekend after. No, it's next weekend. No, you're right. You're right. Let's look at the calendar. It's going to be hella lit.
Yes, but I'm really over this whole obsession where they think that they're much smarter than they actually are.
Yeah.
They think that they are much smarter than they actually are. They cannot pull off these storylines. And
they did that in the episode with It was the second episode. The one episode that had Lord Hood in it, and the guy they cast actually fucking looked like him, so that was cool.
Yeah.
They tried to portray that whole fucking UNSC board meeting as like political maneuvering, but
Mhm.
really, all fucking Paranonsky had to do was just put her hand up and go, "Nah, fucking Halsey's blackmailing me," and the whole thing falls apart.
Right?
They're not that smart.
It's
It's when you have dumb people try to write smart people.
well, and the thing too is like they would get like they'd get so close to writing something into like an intriguing storyline, and then they would just not do anything with it, or they would screw it up, or they would just back off of it. And you're like, why didn't you pursue that further? Like, why didn't you keep going? What stopped you? Like, help me understand.
I agree. I think Vitcher is the perfect example of that. Like, they were really onto something with that character, and they just did nothing.
Right?
And they killed him off. That was stupid there. Okay, anyway. With the television series, we're hoping to speak to Halo fans, but also speak to people around them. What?
I don't understand.
What does that even fucking mean?
Do you think Halo fans don't talk?
Holy shit. It's not like there's been a fucking Halo community for 20 years now. Okay, my
Halo
friends and
chat
family.
rooms. Halo chat rooms are literally legendary for their shit talking.
They're up there with Modern Warfare 2 ones. My friends and family can now talk to me about Halo in the way they never could. No, they still can't, because you've given them what you said from the get-go was a non-canon show.
Exactly.
That's incredibly exciting. No, it's not. You're fucking lying.
Mm-hmm.
You're lying to your friends and family as well now. Now, the term infinite might not be constrained to the gaming side of things either. Yes, it is, because the game's literally called Halo Infinite. So yes, it is. Conversation over. Wolfkill is keen to build on the franchise's limitless potential on the silver screen. Silver screen, because silver timeline. Be it animated. Now, there is a fantastic animated series out there called Halo Legends. Fucking watch that. It's fucking amazing.
Guys, if you want an actual like parody show of Halo that's like funny and it's not canon, just go watch Red vs. Blue.
Red vs. Blue is a fucking more faithful Halo show than the show that this is.
I know.
And it's funny as fuck.
Oh.
I couldn't remember watching Red vs. Blue for the first time. I would have been like 12, maybe 13, watching it being like, this is brilliant. This is fucking brilliant, man. Okay. Anyway, silver screen being limited to live action animated in this TV's silver timeline. Wait, so you're telling me that they want to build a silver timeline universe? Go fuck yourself.
It's never gonna work. Like,
how can you do that when people are fundamentally rejecting your first season? Like, it's been thoroughly rejected by pretty much everyone.
There was no Sergeant Johnson. No Johnson.
No. Nope.
God.
Let's be real. There wasn't a Master Chief. There wasn't a Miranda.
Yeah,
there wasn't a Cortana.
That's true. There wasn't a Master Chief. Specifically designed for the show to separate itself from main canon or elsewhere. So it's pointless. I would love to do more storytelling in the future, whether that's live action, animated, whether they're set in the silver timeline or set in core canon. That's all open. All right. Fuck your silver timeline. Throw it in the bin. It comes down to what the story ultimately needs. What I love about the universe is that we have a universe where we can tell stories in these different places and create an experience that feels different from the games, not for any reason other than being able to give fans something different. I'm always looking at ways we can do that. You can do all of that without making a silver timeline.
Yep.
You can set stories thousands of years in the past about Forerunners. And do you know how I know you can do that? Because you've fucking done it before.
Yep.
You can set stories during the Human Insurrectionist War. You can set stories during the Human Covenant War. You can set man, you could come up with the fucking ODST game is just a little side story that doesn't really connect to anything. It's just a little fucking side story that takes place during one level of Halo 2, and they made a whole fucking game out of it. So don't fucking tell me that you need to come up with a whole new fucking timeline to create new and fresh original stories. You don't. You can do, and this is the thing, when we're ranting about multiverses, Halo has never ever been a multiverse. Ever.
No.
Halo is an A to B story. Crazy fucking shit happens in between, and you can tell 1,000 stories in between that A and B plot point, right? They don't all have to follow Master Chief. They don't all have to follow Spartans. They don't all have to follow ODSTs. Mate, give me a fucking Feel for Arms storyline. Give me a Feel for Arms storyline when he was still part of the Covenant, fighting human and just glassing planets like a motherfucker. I remember seeing a video where some dude was doing math, and he's like, Feel for Arms might be responsible for like 9% of human deaths in history. Fucking tell me some of that shit. I want to see him cruising around glassing planets and killing guns before he ends up joining Master Chief.
To give you guys an idea, when he says 9% of human deaths, in humans are not just limited to Earth. I mean, that's where a majority of them are, but there's humans all over the universe that...
Let me see if I can find it.
Like, 9% is insane. That's... I would have to see the guy's math, but if that's true, we're talking tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of people.
He killed millions. Well, he's responsible for killing millions because like he was ordering like glassings and leading fleets and shit like that. Let me see if I can find it actually. Halo elites after the war. I can't remember who did it. Was it Hidden Xperia? Maybe it was Hidden Xperia. Okay, I think I found it. Give me 1 second here. Just glossing over it. I think it's this video. No, 2.78 responsible he killed. All right, here. I'll play it.
Okay.
Halo Follower did the video. He does good lore videos. So Kiki Wolfkill, lick my fucking nuts.
I bet she doesn't even... I'm angry. Okay, let's see the math.
Off or injure about 2.78 and only responsible for 1 billion the Covenant against itself. So who could blame without knowing? The narrative in the Halo games, which of course are seen most by Halo fans, have been he is a hero. He did the right thing, and he turned against the Covenant and joined Chief in humanity. But the truth is very much different than that. Although those things did happen, Delvedam in the past was a very, very crucial part of the Covenant and its attack on humanity. Delvedam was promoted as the Supreme Commander of Particular Justice, and him, along with his crew, were personally responsible for 1 billion human casualties, 20,000 of them being military personnel, and destroyed 123 UNSC ships, perhaps trillions of dollars of credits and money. In addition, each Oni assassination squad resulted in their defeat, adding to the human death toll. In other words, the Arbiter and his team helped kill off or injure about 2.78% of humanity in its entirety. So why did...
That's a lot of fucking people.
Yeah, and like look at how much I underestimated. I'm like, that's gotta be hundreds of millions of people. He's up here in the $1 billion mark.
Yeah. He's killing a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's why his story was always so cool, man, because he was an enemy that ended up, joining Master Chief going, nah, fuck those motherfuckers. Chief was right. These cunts are assholes. Fucking hell. But UNSC bad. Exactly. Fucking hell. Yeah, so Kiki Wolfkill, you're off your fucking head. Everything about that was just cringe. Dude's out here killing it. Hey, he's getting it done. You're gronking on dogs. Defund the UNSC. Fucking oath. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I normally keep these streams to about an hour, between an hour and a half. So I think this is a good time to start winding it on down. But before I do, I want to plug something really quick. And
Okay.
this is from Mr. Insanity, who just started his Twitch channel. He's been streaming for about 2-3 days. 50 is the magic number to get on Twitch. He is too short. So if you haven't already, we just need 2 people to follow him on Twitch. So if you could do that, that would be
I can do that
amazing.
at the end of the stream.
Lady G, thank you so much for coming on. We obviously have Sailor
Yeah, sorry,
Moon
technical
next
difficulty.
week, which is going to be hella lit. But between now and then, is there anything coming up you want to promote?
Well, I will be streaming Monday around noon. I can't tell you what about yet because I have to wait for one more thing. But whether that one happens or not, I'll also be streaming Monday evening. And then I'm trying to think. I'm going to try and get a couple of videos out. And then I've got my Nostalgic Nirvana stream, and I have a member stream this week. So if you are a member of my channel, we've got 2 member streams this week because I owe you guys. And then this Saturday, not only do we have the Sailor Moon stream, but Saturday afternoon, my time, will be my book club where we're talking about A Tale of Two Cities.
Ooh, lit. Because there's a funny story. You got kicked out of your book club because you didn't want to read softcore porn.
It was hardcore. I don't care what anybody says.
Hardcore porn. Okay, my bad.
Like, yeah, I didn't want to. First of all, I don't know about porn films per se. Like how they work. If the act, like, I know the joke is that like porn actors can't act, but like
Depends which ones.
like I'm assuming if you're gonna read or like if you're gonna write a smut novel,
Smut novels. Boss Hawk can tell you all about them.
You're gonna at least attempt to make some kind of story with it, and like there's no effort. There's no any, like, I'm reading it and I'm like, I don't understand the obsession with this book, but it just I got booted out of my book club basically because this SJW infiltrated, suggested the book. We all read it. All these other women are like, yeah, I didn't like it. But then we get down to it and they don't want to say that they didn't like the book in the book club. I was the only one that did. And then the book club after that, where we had like our decision meeting or whatever. So like we have our book club where we discuss the books, and then we have other stuff where it's like clerical stuff, right? Or we just chat. I threw a cupcake at the chick because she insulted my family. So she's lucky it was just a cupcake, quite frankly. But
so
yeah,
book club.
So yeah, we're going to be doing our very first
Saturday
book club. So the book clubs are for members only. So while they're going on, it's private. It's just us members talking. If you're a Grave Master level, you get to come and like talk on the panel with me about the book. And if you're Ocarina or Fellowship, you would if you're not, you're like in the chat talking about it. But then after we're done with the stream, I'll public those streams so that people can see what we talked about.
This brew's right. I mean, considering what we've known you to do, surprised you didn't kill it.
There was a table in between us, a very thick table. Like, I mean, it was one of those big conference tables that's probably 1.5 meters wide, and she was on the other side of it, which is why she got an aerial cupcake to the face. But I was like legit, I stood up and I was ready to crawl over that table to do some not very ladylike things. Just be perfectly honest, I was so freaking livid. Like, and then I had to have a discussion, and then like I think a week after that, the head of the book club was like, we need to talk, and I was like, okay. And she's like, you've changed, and I'm like, no, I haven't. I was like, I feel very confident in saying that this is you, not me. This is a you problem. So yeah, it's Oh man, it's been a day for sure.
I haven't read Tale of Two Cities since high school, and I read it for pleasure, says Mara. There you go. There you go.
Yes, it's such a good book. Like, without giving too much away. Okay, so basically, in A Tale of Two Cities, if you like intrigue, mystery, wars, liberty, overcoming obstacles, betrayal, revenge, personal growth, as well as basically acceptance, repentance, deliverance, and just all around fantastic storytelling mixed in with some spy networks, you're gonna love A Tale of Two Cities. There's even some romance in there for you romance people.
There you go. Romance.
But
love it.
there you go.
But we got Mr. Insanity past Fiddy, so that's fucking awesome. Thank you, everyone. He's gonna be in a good mood. And yeah, so we got Sailor Moon and that as well. It's gonna be hella lit. And yeah, thank you very much, everybody, for coming out. You mad lads and lasses, much appreciated. Lady G, you can have the final word before we end it.
Oh, chat, you're beautiful. I love you all so much. If any of you were at the meet, I know a couple of you were. Thank you so much for coming up and talking to me. It was incredible to meet you guys because you are all just so fantastic. It was such an honor to get to meet all of you. I hope that I get to meet more of you in the future. And thank you for hanging out and talking Halo with us because Lethal and I most definitely love actual Halo. So we love to destroy what is clearly a Covenant plot to, undermine the love that we have for Chief and Halo. So,
and if you're a Covenant sympathizer, just think of this as heresy.
There you go.
All right.
Mwah.
Thank you,
Thank
boys
you all
and
so
girls.
much.
And
Much
we
love.
will talk later. Bye.
Bye.
Ah! Oh, sorry. You probably thought I was a drop bear. Nah, it's me, Bush Barbie. And today, I'm here to talk to you about dingers. Because like you, this bush has seen a cockatoo. Regardless if you like it deep in the bush or prefer it in the outback, make sure you look after your wombat hole. So many critters can get down there. And believe me, it's enough to make your dango go drier than a dead dingo's donger in the desert. So don't do it. Even if he is a fun guy. Yeah, so by all means go wild. Just make sure you take a moment, in the moment, to use a moment, so you can keep the devil out of your Tassie and the jelly out of your box. That's it.